Okay, so it gives you different kinds of option here itself. Okay, if you don't want to stack, then it is like a standard option. I don't want a stacked normal stat chart, so it can give you this option. So what happens now, these are the very good features, these are timed features which can be used. And if you want to customize as per your requirement, so I have not added data, therefore it is not highlighting. If I add data, then it can add it. You can also switch between rows and columns. So I want this in the rows different in a form, so I can do in that way also. Okay. um Also, what I was trying to tell you, that you can have a data range also into it. You can have series, so you don't have to add a different kind, go and check the series. It takes a lot of time when you are manually doing it here. Okay, you have to go, and then you can just have to go and select and then do it through the series, through select data. So you have to go add from here, quite a lengthy process, and you have to remember what we have to do every time. Whereas here, the features are very interactive, right in front of you, and it shows in front of you what is happening here. So you don't have to remember anything, and you can toggle between those things very quickly. Okay, and also it gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of switching of your row and column. There also it is there. The feature is not nothing new, but it is more of interactive, user friendly, and very quick to use. Okay, if you have already columns A, so I'll just delete this chart, and I will say respondent here. Okay, and say I have respondents here and their favorite dish, favorite color here. Okay, so I have different colors here. I don't know which color starts from. Okay, now there is something. I can write different dishes. I'm already hungry, but I don't want to. Okay, now what happens? I just want to tell you that there can be different features which can give you access, but now it has automatically created. Now I want to just use different features, and now see these customized features is also what this is highlighted. So it tells you different chart styles here, what type of feature you want, what type of access, access if you want of different color, legend if you want a legend in the sideways to right display what you want to tell. So horizontal axis, vertical axis, everything it is shown here. So this becomes very easy feature in terms of charts to be used. Now there is a pivot table option. So in here you can use it in the creating, or you can use in the next sheet. So in the same sheet it can create, but it will create in the next sheet. Please enter a valid range. So now I don't have a data, so it is not able to tell me. I need a data, so it can tell me. Goodness. Okay. Okay. Now it has got a sheet. So it is automatically created. Now I have created a pivot table. If you create a pivot table here, so it is not that you can't create it. Okay, you require data, and then you can go and create a pivot table here. Okay, so it takes a lot of time. It seems to be quite difficult, and macros, handling macros is not everybody's cup of tea for in Microsoft Excel. But when you are using pivot table here, it becomes very easy. So if I want to see how many respondents are there and favorite dish, so you can just add here. In rows I've added. Okay, so it tells me, okay, 8 respondents are there. I want to see in columns, I want to see favorite dish, so I will add in columns. Okay, so you could see here, and the grand total, so it automatically it helps me in. Whereas if I use the same feature in Microsoft Excel, it becomes so difficult, because I'm already fearful of using pivot table. Okay, if you're not using it daily. Okay, these I'm telling you, Microsoft Excel, Word, PowerPoint, these features are to be these. If you're not using it daily, you don't remember those features, and then the files are so in so pathetic conditions that half of the file, when somebody sends me, my time goes in editing that file. Okay, these are different features which are automatically imbibed in Google Sheets, and which are very easy to use. Okay, and please remember, when I created a pivot table, it asked me for a new sheet, so I created a new sheet and it showed me there. I didn't disturb the existing sheet here, so it tells me. Or if you want a new workbook altogether, it will open a new workbook altogether. It depends on whatever your requirement is and what you give as a command. So it just accepts your command and move ahead. Okay. You can insert an image in a cell, or you can just image over cells. So like what we say, behind the text or in front of the text, that is kind of feature. It has a drawing feature, functions feature. So all your sums, averages, so it gives me actually automatically. See, in Excel it will never come automatically. Now here he knows that you require a sum of all these numbers, because this is how it detects. So the data detection feature in Excel is not available to that extent as compared to Google Sheets. Can anybody tell me, see the function, or tell me now what this will do? Sum A1 to A9. What it shows, it automatically gives me that feature that, oh, I want the sum. So it automatically give me. I'll never do this because it is a serial number which I have given, but it has detected. If you don't want it, you just erase it, or you just tell him. You can just shift the feature wherever you want it. Okay, you will never add it. If I want to add this, if there are, say, understand, if this is the age of it, not age. If you want to see different kinds of, say, divisions in one respondents, and I want to add, see how many respondents are there. So that time it becomes easy. It has to tell me 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 respondents are there, not 8 add as a 1 plus 2 plus 3, not that way. So but what my point is to tell you here in this workshop, that try to use these features, because it has automatically invite features like different functions. If you want to do average, it will just ask you directly. Whereas if I want to do here, you have to do this equal to average, then so I have to remember the formula. Okay, or I can go in, it is not so difficult. You can go and insert a function, and you can click on this, and it can give you the function. But again, I have to remember what I have to select, where I have to select, and what will be the, if you want help on this function, it can give you also. Now it is not giving you because don't have data here. Whereas if I use in Google Sheets, it is automatically telling me how to use the average function by giving me, suggesting me. Only I have to go do what? I have to select the value 1 and value 2. So value 1 plus value 2, that's value 1 and value 2. That's it. Okay. And it automatically tells me this is what is the average function requirement is. Once you do this, it will give you your answer. Am I sounding digestible again? This is the word I'm using. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'll just gap a drink. Okay. So these are the different functions which what we were doing. I did something wrong there. What we were doing. So there are some average count, and now you can see these are the features which we will default used, or we are mostly using it. So default, it shows some average, count, max, and min. These are the features which are automatically shown always. If you want some additional features, it has all these features here. So it has n number of functions, much more than what we are normally using, or what we require it. I hardly use it. But if you could see, there are some features there, and you can see there are different kinds of features which are used with also with different kinds of, what we can say, inbuilt feature into it. So if you want to in seconds, months, or whatever it is, so date has also feature. Then so there are some kind of features which are used in genesis derivatives. You can say different kinds of, say, integral values if you want to use, or other advanced functions. So there you can get it. There are some kind of what we can say logical options, that if then else, if error functions. There there is only directly in the Microsoft Excel there are functions there. Then there are different advanced math functions which can be used from here. So there are all these functions are to be used. If you want, there are different kinds of features here. And if you want all the features alphabetically, they are saved here. Nothing new into it, but yes, you should know it. Then where were we? Insert function. Then you can link this file, checkbox, drop. If you want to use it, you can create a Dropbox. I want to create a Dropbox here. I can create a Dropbox drop down here. So I can directly create. So this is it is invalid here because it doesn't have any options here. So it is saying invalid. Okay. And for any data, I cannot do any function. Okay. It has to have a typical type of data to use that function. That is the need of the data, that is. Then format. Again, format is like how you want to display your file, how you want to display your data, text, or whatever you want to do it. That is nothing great to be told in. Then if you want to short sheets with A to Z or Z to A, that is alphabetically or with the number of values, or if you want to do with the help of column or with the column, you can sort sheet. So you have a similar sort function in your what we can say. Um, uh, Microsoft Excel, sorry, you can use it. This feature A to Z, Z to it. Same function is here in your Google. So nothing new into it. Then create a filter. Same what we create a filter here. So if you want to create a filter, you can create a filter here, and you can toggle between those things. Okay. Add a slicer. This is a new thing which I don't want to tell now. Named ranges, you can name a function. Randomize data validation. Yes, data validation is a good feature we can use. Data cleanup is also a good feature. It requires a little bit of more time, which is not a data validation is can be used where you want to use. Okay, this data validation I have by mistake I was inputting the file and I have put some double values. Double values will be accepted. It cannot be in terms of as a data validation, but I might have put like 20 and 220 and 20. So that kind of thing can be done, can be checked, and this feature is very good in terms of handling that kind of features. Also sometimes when typing, some typist can or some kind of say researcher can type some kind of characters into it in the numerical value. So there the char value can be easily detected by Google. So these are the features which are very handy. So whenever I input data or whenever some questionnaires come as an Excel sheet, as a respondent sheet, so this becomes very easy for people like us to just click the function and then it validates your data. So that is a very good thing. Or data cleanup function can also be used. It requires a lot of time, therefore I'm not adding this to this workshop. Spelling is your spell check. Normally what we do, autocomplete is like yes, it has already been done. Extensions, now this is like a feature of get add-ons. So again the same feature what we had there. So you can get add-ons. Add-ons like you can have different chart functions. You can imbibe different kinds of ready-made workshops. There are template tabs. This you can already also have use your Moodle sheets if you have, and there if you want to search between your workshop your toggle between your classroom files, then that can you also do. You have a mail merge option. Mail merge option, you can sync your directly your data into it. So these are the options which are using. You also have app sheet where you can create an app. So that is for there. I don't want to use that right now. You can have a chart visualization by Chart Expo. So this is an add-on which a feature which is there by Google Sheets, which is there. Okay, there are these are different kinds of help files. So everything, whatever you are stuck somewhere, you can get, or just see a YouTube video, you will get everything. So this was there. Again, the same feature, you can share this file. So I want to share this file. Again, the same type of option which we had in Google Docs, which we had in Google Slides, same type of option. Again, I'll again say people you will see, and whatever in my access, we can give a restrict access with the link. I can just copy this link, and you share this link, and you can open it. Okay, so there's nothing new into it. You have to just see where I can do it. Okay, again the same thing. I can give an access, and then I'm owner. So owner is showing. If I give an access to some person, it will show it that way. Okay, there are settings into it. Yes, there are different kinds of option which are easy options, as like you want to convert this you want to reduce the decimal size, you can use the percentage, you can have the currency format, you can use the file for zooming in or whatever it is. So this is a ribbon which is given you for easy access, so you don't have to go and search option. So I'll show you, this is the option what you have. See, decimal options, search, auto sum, and all these things. So Google also, Microsoft also has these functions, only that saving option, and you cannot retrieve. You have to always attach the file, send it via email, and then access, download. So that only thing is saved. Otherwise this um, Microsoft Excel and feature wise there's no difference into it. Yes, there are some kind of templates, additional features, smart options which are there, which is auto detection of the data, like auto detected, he did it and he did the sum for me for average of for it. So that becomes very easy. So this is what a Google Sheet is. Any questions till now? Or you want to stop me and ask me somewhere, or something which you want to correct me or edit or something? Yes, Santosh, you want to say something?
No, no, madam. I don't have any questions.
Okay. No, I thought you have unmuted. Therefore, I asked.
Yeah.
Let's move to Google Docs now. How to create a questionnaire.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now the same thing again. If you go to my drive, you can see the waffle function. You have my account. You have search option, maps again here, and here there are different kinds of options which where we were going. Okay, so we have used slides. I'll put them there. Okay. Oh no, sorry. Therefore, I was wondering where these options I put them up. So drive, sheets, docs, and slides. Three things we have seen in the drive. I'll now go down and I'll bring this forms also up. So see, you can just toggle them. I usually keep it there, but I wanted you to see how I do it. Therefore, I'm doing it. Okay. I want this also here. I want a Play Store because I use a lot. I want forms here now because I'm going to teach you forms. So these are the functions which we are seeing using it. So this is how smart features are. And yes, this should be given to us because we use it much more often. So let's go on forms now. Same thing, same. It was looking the same for all the three. The fourth one also looks the same. There's nothing great onto it. Yes. For this, I don't have any Microsoft option because I am not using it. Any other Survey Monkey or something. I'm always use Google Forms. This is a very good option to create questionnaires, and I think most of you are in the preliminary stages of your PhD. So you have just registered or about to register and looking forward to complete it as early as possible. So this thing is very handy in terms of using questionnaires. Questionnaires can be created in many different formats, many different forms. And nowadays there are different easy apps, cheap apps which are available, so you can use them. But I think Google apps, if you use through Google, it becomes very easy to use it and very handy. And what we say, um, much more convenient in terms of sending file, accessing file, downloading responses, or making charts out of responses, pasting them into your Google Sheet. So everything can be synced. So you can what I want to say, you can sync your Google Sheet, that is your responses, to your Word file, that is Google Docs, and you can use through your responses directly from the Google Forms. So all these three things can be synced, and you can uh, create your research papers in as early as possible. And this is the way we do it because we are accessing different from different parts of the world at different time zones, and it becomes so easy for us to conveniently do as per our availability, as per our convenience, as per our time available, and just keep on adding the data and syncing them. So you don't have to just do, you save a lot of time in copy pasting. That is what my main intention is to tell you. Okay. And that is a very much more, what we can say, layman way of doing it. We as a academician, as a researcher, we should go in much more, what we can say, advanced features to use, so it becomes easy for us to remember much more difficult things and much more, what we can say, other things which are there in your colleges, offices, or institutes. I hope this sounds quite um, similar what your experiences are. Okay, now this is done. Let's go in making now why we require a questionnaire. Now questionnaire is what where we collect responses from the data from your respondents, who are basically called your sample. Now if I say, you might have already seen this in your workshop, how different faculties might have taught you that how to select a topic, then how the different kinds of, say, data validation techniques are there. Then if I'm selecting, oh, my customers are satisfied or not, so I want to do a customer satisfaction survey, so I'm just naming this customer satisfy. I wanted to do internal, but it's okay. Customer satisfaction survey for XYZ. I am rating because my product is XYZ. Okay. So this is how, again, it is saving all changes aside. I don't have to just worry that I just somebody came and just closed this file. Oh, it has gone. No, no, it is already there. Where is this customer? It was just recently I used it. So that is a very good way of doing it. Okay. Now this customer satisfaction survey. So what is this telling you about? Customer satisfaction survey is a survey which I'm conducting for my PhD thesis. I'm conducting it for XYZ product. I will conduct for many other products, and then I'm going to take those responses. So when I'm getting this respond, I should be able, this is just a tool. study you have to do. You should know how to create a questionnaire. So take a small say any paper and try to write what type of questions you as a customer are going to answer. You are nowadays n number of surveys comes through Facebook, different kinds of say, Instagram and whatever whatnot different apps. So it every day you're answering those you are giving reviews when you're using Uber, or say you're using different kinds of food apps or travel options or whatever. Everywhere you're just giving reviews, and Google is trying to make the review as one of the biggest highlights, because the first thing whenever you want to buy anything on Amazon, you go and check the review. You are go and check the ranking of the particular XYZ dealer or the supplier, whatever it is. So this is how basically the satisfaction surveys work on it. Now the moment this Google Meet will end, immediately it will ask me how the call was. So again, the star 5 star, the one is basically the lowest on the range, satisfaction range, and 5 is the highest range. So 1 to 5 is basically a Likert scale. You can have 1 to 5 scale, you can have 1 to 7, 1 to 9, whatever, depends on whatever your guide is trying to tell you. Now when I'm using this tool is basically telling you how to you can ask in a very simplified manner. So when I'm using this, I've given this a name. Try to make sure that you give a description, because whenever you're sending to a respondent, he or she will not understand why this survey has come to me, who the hell I am to do this survey, why this such a long survey, because PhD surveys are quite big. They might run into pages. So what happened, it will go on, and people will get bored of submitting, and also they cannot submit it because you have given almost all questions compulsory. So here you see, you can see asterisk, it has given compulsory. And if you are trying to do it, see, whenever you're sending Google surveys, make sure that you don't do this email options, because most of the time if you ask email, they may not they people may hesitant, or nowadays people like me have already created 2 3 extra emails, so that whenever we are giving surveys, we are trying to fill with those, so that my identity is not taken into consideration, because people collect emails and they try to send proportional email messages and all. So try to avoid asking emails. But ju- just a second, there's a mail. Okay. Now what happens when I'm trying to tell is, you can just give a brief description about your survey, what the survey is for, who you are. So I'm an XYZ researcher doing my PhD thesis on this and this, and I'm asking this survey as a part of my PhD thesis, and the data will be only used for academic purpose and will not be shared with anybody. So make sure that you give this description, and also tell the respondents that if you're giving them some discounts, vouchers, or any kind of say Paytm coupon or something, try to highlight that because that becomes a little bit of perk kind of option to get quick service, because getting data is a quite difficult thing. So in PhD thesis you can give the for PhD doing PhD, these type of things can be used. Or even give a Amazon voucher. If you're giving that, try to make sure, if you're not giving anything, don't write anything. And also make sure that you try to tell what you are. If you are a research associate or a research fellow or a faculty somewhere, try to make sure you write that and give a small description about yourselves. Okay, so you should do that. That will be your description. Also, then if it is you are collecting email, that is there, or you can just, the form is already collecting email, so you can go and check settings, so you can do that way. So now questions. Now this is basically the title of, you can also add a theme to it, you can also add a description. So it is you can add an image here. So if I want to add an image, I can do, or Google Drive or Google Images, if there are, if I have want to have some kind of same theme to it, like if I send a quiz after my presentation, I have added a JIT logo there, so that can be used. Okay, or you can just drag a file from my pictures itself. So this can be done. So what happens automatically when the survey comes, oh, this is from this particular institute, I can see the logo, this can be done. Or if you want to say a product ads, like that day I was creating, I wanted some ad was created, and ID Fresh has created a new lid for making a dosa. I think you might have seen it on LinkedIn or something. So he has created a new, the owner is from Hyderabad, and he has created a new lid. So that is a good design, and the kid is trying to, a small kid, a 10-year-old kid is also can make a dosa. He can just put the dosa batter and he can put the lid, and he can just rotate it like what we do for crepe making. So I wanted to show that ad, and I wanted the responses based on that. That is that ad that appealing, what type of things, how the age matters, because the age was the biggest influencer in that. The tools, such type of tools should be promoted. The tool was not only a tool, but it was tool with the lid. So such type of, so we had n number of questions based on that. So we had added a video in this, and then we had asked questions based on that. So you don't give just oh, so and so ad is there and I want to ask you on this. No, respondents will never try to go. I don't expect them. They will go on the ad, they will click on the link, and then they will see the video. No, it is very difficult for them. Already they are making a huge benefit by answer to you by giving you a response. So respect them and try to make their work as simplified as possible. So if you want to ask an untitled question, usually you should not ask, but if you want to ask a name, write this. If you want to collect the name, you want to ask this way. If you don't want to ask in this way, write the name of the respondent, and he is not he or she, just write respondent. It doesn't matter what gender is. Okay, you're, if you're asking if gender is so important for you, make sure that you ask gender in the subsequent demographic question. Usually you can keep your demographic questions before, and name of the respondent. If you don't want to show their identity, just say this feature is very good feature because it helps you to make sure that if it doesn't the respondent doesn't want to show its name, he will not show. Now this question cannot, I cannot have the option as multiple check. Okay, so make sure that you give a short answer. Nobody's name will be a big paragraph, so you don't require a big paragraph, 2 lines here. So be very conscious whenever you are making a questionnaire. Grammatical free, error free, and the look should be very presentable. Okay, if the questionnaire comes to me, the person like me will never answer if the respondent has some if the questionnaire has some mistakes. Similarly, most of the researchers will try to get their views across when the questionnaire looks good. So name of the respondent. Okay, I have written it, and I want to remove formatting. So you don't want to do any kind of a format, just write answer. So the person will just give a small one line answer. So you just respond. And I don't want the identity to be revealed. Therefore, if you want the name of respondent is very important, because the teacher, like Swati ma'am, wants to ask you that you have done assignment 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and no, your feedback about my lecture after me. So she wants your name. Okay, usually in feedback they don't ask you, but I have given you some assignment and she wants to collect your assignments. So say name of the respondent is very important. That time you should definitely put this. So depending on the nature of whatever questionnaire, you should make your questionnaire design that format, not just copy paste from somewhere or look somewhere on the Google and just imbibe the same features in it. No, please don't do that. Okay, so this is how I don't want any identity. So I'm doing this. Now first question I'm asking here is age. Okay, because it is a demographic. Okay, now age, I want it is to be in years. Okay, now I don't want in directly in the years. This is a required question because I definitely want. No, please don't ask age directly what it is. Always try to have in multiple choice format, so give an option. Okay, so don't give option 0 to 2. This will never happen in because you're not sending it to kids. So make sure that you give the age in this format, less than 18 years. If it is, it is okay for you for the people less than 18 years can also answer. So give them this. You already did an age in years, so don't write years. Less than 18 is okay. Okay, then I can ask from 18 to say 24. I can go this way, and this is how I can ask. And at the end, say if you have 2 3 options you have given, and then you can say more than say 45 years, more than 45. So what happened, this scales help you to tell or people to understand, oh, this is a good thing to tell me that I'm in this particular scale. So make sure that it is presentable, error free, and people are not hesitant to answer. And this is a required question because this customer satisfaction, in this I'm going to definitely collect an age. uh, just give me a second, I will come back in a minute because I have to see what the mail is. Mail means the post. Sorry, it was just an Amazon courier. Now what happened, I was telling you that it should be error free and it should be presentable, and this question I definitely want to make it required because I want to know their age range. I don't want to know anybody's age in particular, so I want to know the age range, and I want to make sure that this question is required. So I'm making this feature. It was like this. If it is, people can skip this question, but I don't want them to skip, so I can make this required. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Now I want to ask. Now these there are similarly now there are different demographics. Like you can, I have just asked name of the respondent, then age, then you can ask the location if you want, rural, urban, okay, so, or the location of work, location of residence. You can divide into two questions. You can also ask them if you want gender, male, female, prefer not to say. Please give their option of prefer not to say. And if you want to ask them, say what we can say name of the institute. Sometimes if you want to ask if you're it is only for faculty, if you want to do, or particular responses you want to ask income group income. So make sure that you ask the income in always use either ascending format or descending format. Now what do I mean by ascending or a descending format? Can somebody tell me what is an ascending format or a descending format? Just a guess. You don't have to be always correct, or no response is always wrong. Okay, can somebody guess me what is an ascending or a descending format? I simply mean there's nothing rocket science into it. Anybody can tell me, I think. Now, if I say less than 18, then 24. So I'm increasing this range. Okay. Now, what happens when I'm increasing this range? It becomes an ascending. So, what happens as a respondent, if I'm answering these questions, the respondent itself feels good in terms of, okay, I don't have to remember anything. Okay. Responses are always the questions are always fitted in such a manner that all the responses are in there in ascending manner. So make sure that you, whenever you're making the questionnaire, you go in that same format. So what happens whenever you use a Google feature of a review, always 5 star means good. I hope you understand what I'm trying to mean. So it is default, it is set in my mind that, oh, if fast, I will just type stars and I will just quickly do my job. So this is what basically is happening. Okay. So make sure that you give an ease to the respondent of by giving it in an ascending manner. Okay. So this is what is there. I don't want to go in the nominal scale and all those things. This is not what we are here for. I just want to give you a brief overview of how the Google apps differently are available and you can use them. That is what my intention here in this workshop is. So you can ask gender, you can ask your location for residence, your okay location of work. If you want to ask about institutes, you can ask institute. You can whatever, and make sure that you ask multiple choice. If you are asking them for the answer, say you were asking there here as the name of the respondent in text form, so make sure you give them some kind of hint as an help text. Or if you want to give them a big answer, you can use the paragraph kind of an option. If you are giving already the options in drop down options, so you can just give here, go and here and give a drop down option, so you can already have a different drop down options from there. So there are different kinds of options. Now I'll tell you how to make this is what is there. Time is limited, so I just quickly want to make sure that I tell you the grid option also. Now these are the questions which I've done. Now there are some kind of satisfaction questions which I definitely want to ask based on the Likert scale. There I don't want to use a multiple choice questions because I have many rows. I want to ask about the color, I want to ask about the different features, I also ask about the different kinds of say price, I want to ask about the look, I want to ask about say a number of other things. Okay. So when I'm talking about all these all these kinds of say different questions, these are called as attributes for my satisfaction. So I can have different kinds of attributes. So if I make attribute as say design of the product, so based on design, that can be a heading, I can give it that as a section I can make for design, and then I can ask question based on that. So in design I can say standard design, I say design size, or a particular say branded design. So you can ask different questions inside design, and then you can make a grid for it. Now when you are making a grid, what does that mean? That the attribute design has different kinds of parameters. So attribute is a design, and the different questions inside is that the what we can say parameters which are helping the attribute design to tell me about the satisfaction about XYZ product. Is that sounding okay or is it confusing? Should I repeat it? Oh, are there
No,
people or
ma'am, it
there
is
are
okay.
bots? Bots also talk nowadays. Huh? Okay, so this is a design attribute which I want to talk about. Ask code. Please rate or give your agreement, degree of agreement. That is a good thing. So degree of agreement with respect to say XYZ. What I'm doing? XYZ product for the features below. Okay, what I did here. Okay, so what you're trying to tell or design, just you're just directly not asking. You always make sure that you give an ease to the respondent of explaining how that particular design word is going to relate with your customer satisfaction. So this is what is my basic. I'm basically talking about an engineering product. I think it was there in my mind. So now what I want to do in the row. So now if you go in an Excel, I already have an Excel sheet. Therefore, I'll try to tell you. Okay, I was having some kind of feature here. Now, if I see, I want some kind of feature. So I want to have my product is XYZ based on design. So I it talks about some say color. I'm doing like Google. I'm talking about the size. I'm talking about the top view. I'm talking about the front view of the product. There are a number of things, okay, in design. So I'm talking about the front view design. No, accessibility can be a big attribute. So these are the features which are there in design. Okay. So what happened? Now I want to ask about the different degree of agreement. Okay. So now what happened? I'm asking them based on this. So this is what is my intent. This I can do it on paper, but I'm doing it in front of Excel so that you can view it. Now this particular thing is in my mind, and I want to know each respondents what they want. I want to find out what they how they rate, how they are satisfied with the color of the product, with the size, with the top view, with the front view of the product. This is an engineering product, not on not of what we can say whatever it is. So this is what is my intention is. Okay, in that of course in engineering project more color will not be never an option so much, but still I'm trying to tell because sometimes they use yellow or something. So this particular table which I've made, this is my attribute. These are different kinds of parameters. So they will come in here. I like the color of I like the color. That's it. You don't have to tell you because you already written XYZ product. I agree about I I will not say I like because I'm not making strongly like or dislike. I agree with the set color. I agree about what was the parameter next? I forgot. I agree about the size parameters. Okay, so this is an engineering product. Now here you can have a multiple choice question. So if I have want to already I've said use the word agree. You can also use the word like. So you can have a dislike options or like options. So strongly like or what we can say. You can also use an option called as neutral. You can always also use an options of a 9 point scale or a 7 point scale. So make sure that you want to use. Now again, remember to make sure that you usually used ascending format or descending format. In the this questionnaire, I'm already using an ascending format where I'm using from the less to the higher side. So I'm already going from that way. So I'll always use the option of strongly disagree. Then I can have the next question, next column as disagree. Then this can be neither agree or disagree. Then I can have an option of strongly agree. It cannot, therefore it is popped up. So this is very good feature which is already there, and it helps me a lot to tell me. So this is a feature. I want this as a compulsory question, therefore I'm putting it. Okay. So now this question is this. So this is a parameter which is this is an attribute about my product for satisfaction. So design. Then this is a, now you can add n number of rows. I'm not adding here now. I can add about what we can say. I agree with the top view of the product. I agree with the front view of the product. So all these things. Make sure you check your questions. So now here, see, it doesn't look nice. Small things are there, but people like me also get irritated with the look of the questionnaire. So this is how it looks now. Okay. Now if I want to see this question, there is an option called preview. So I'll just go and check here. So this is how the question look. I agree with the set color. I agree with the, so this option, if you want to make a note, make sure that this question is form of multiple choice grid. This comes here. If you see, there was a short option, there was a paragraph, there was multiple choice, check boxes, drop down. There are different options. In this, you can have a multiple choice grid. Are you okay with this? Is it clear now? When to use this question? When to use, not when in, is it okay when to you should use this option of grid? So this is what is my requirement now. I agree with the set color. I agree with the performance of the people. So you cannot directly ask, but I'm just trying to tell you different kinds of samples where you should use. So this is how you should use this different kinds of options. Okay.
Yes, madam. Yes.
Okay. So there are only some people, few, not some also. There are only one or two people who are answering. Please make the best of it and complete your PhDs as early as possible. Don't delay it. Okay. So this is how this grid options look like. So if you go and you want a similar kind of say question, or you want to have, so, and please remember that you can keep on adding. So you can have 20, 25, what we can say, rows into it, and you can have these kind of options. You can increase them if you want, but make sure that you have, and you can highlight this design in a different section. So there are different kinds of, say, I'll tell you how to make. This is option of adding question, but if you can see, you can make this as a different, what happened, this is a question section making. So you can just design, I can make section design like this. Okay. In this design, you can just tell you, we respondents are expected respondents. You please make sure that you give a brief explanation wherever you are making anything, like name if you want to ask us there, or you are explaining, you are trying to, in the beginning we were trying to tell form description that this particular XYZ for questionnaire is for XYZ thing something, and this was only be used for academic purpose. The data will not be shared with anybody. So please make sure you give a description so that the respondents feel good, protected, and feel safe while answering, because most of the time while answering respondents we are not so, they feel hesitant while answering the respondents, answering these surveys, giving the responses and giving the real time feedback. And make sure keep your questionnaires as small as possible to get good responses and quick responses, and also add perks to it. Or also make sure that you use a word of mouth feature that pass on to as many groups as possible. Just don't forward the message or link to anybody. Make sure that you give a detailed explanation that why and where are you doing. And also in WhatsApp, whenever you're forwarding, make sure that you give a detailed message and then paste the link to it. That is the good way of getting responses, and you get what we can say, faster, quicker, and in a respectful manner. Don't, people are not just, or you are not just using them as like just camouflaging them by just doing it on your own. So don't do it that way. So this is how it is done. So give a discrimination. So this is, oh, I just want to show you how it looks. I will just, this is not showing because I have already done preview in the last question, so I can just reload it. So it views, this is a good feature by this. So next it will give you, and if you could it is not coming. What happened? I don't know what happened. Oh, I have not added something. I will add this section, I will say. This section gives you detail questions pertaining to design something. Design so that the satisfaction something. I don't want to write now. So this is how. Then I add a question to it. So this question can come here. I want to shift this question. So this is a good feature. I want to add this question here. Okay. Now I want to preview it. Oh, I'm not. What happened? Why this was not showing? Because my email was not written. So I will write Doctor. What happened? It is not coming that way. I don't want to even type my email ID. Do you think I will answer the respond to the questions? No. Now this will. Why this was happening? Because I have already kept the questions as come here. It is asterisk mark. So red asterisk shows the compulsory question. So it was not going to next section, and already I have given add after next section. So when you see this looks so good, design respond design. So you're asking questions. This section is only asking the questions about design. So the viewer feels good, satisfied with the way you are asking the questions in different sections, so he doesn't get what we can say confused or what I'm answering about or what this question is about. If you want good feedback, make sure you make good sections, viable sections, so that it becomes easy for anybody and everybody to understand and answer your questionnaire to get you a good response. So this is how you can use different features. You also have different kinds of options like linear scale, multiple choice, grid questions. You can have check boxes in that, so you can have a checkbox select. You have some question, right? What see, this is what happens when you make spelling. Select all that apply, so you can have option one also, then you can have option two also. You can just click on options. So and I want to add other also. So I want to this option also, I want to this option also, and I want this also. So you can have check boxes also. You can have multiple choice. In multiple choice only one option will be selected. So make sure that your question is correct, and the way you are asking in that particular xyz format, that is also should be in a very appropriate manner, error free, grammar free, and grammatic not grammar free, grammatically correct, so that the respondent feels good when he's answering. And then you can add a theme to it, and give a good title to it, which I have given already here. Make sure you draft a proper message and send it across. This is how Google Forms are to be used. And whenever you are using Google Forms, your responses can be collected to a sheet. So you are collecting the responses means you can link to a sheet. So I can link this, create a new sheet. Yes, I want to create a new sheet, and or I want to create I might have an existing spreadsheet ready for my responses collecting. So I will, because people are going to fill those responses, so I'm going to create it. Okay. And this is how the now nobody has filled these responses. You could see from here only there are no responses. So I will have created. So there is a timestamp, email address, name of the respondent, age in years. Only these questions I've written. So all these will become name or time of the respondents will be timestamp will be the time when the respondent filled the questionnaire. So sometimes this becomes very easy, because when my students in masters do the project, or some of the people whom I help doing their PhDs, they submit their questionnaires. I usually check that questionnaires, are the timestamps correct? Are they not camouflage, or not that I've just inserted the values? So this is a good way of checking it, or verifying it. Email address, then name of the respondent, age in years. All these questions, whatever you have drafted in the questionnaires, will be automatically sent with the Excel sheet, which is a spreadsheet collecting responses. Now you can just make the use of it through different kinds of, say, sum options, or what we can say average options. Now that is a data analysis part that can be covered later, but try to understand that this is a very good way in which it becomes easy for you to collect your responses. So this is there. You also have a setting where you can convert your questionnaire into a quiz form. We will shortly get the quiz after this. So this is how it becomes easy for you as a researcher at this level to make the questionnaires and use it. You can also use different kinds of options. There are n number of options to use surveys, but with these advanced features of Google Docs and Google Forms, it becomes very easy for people like me to use questionnaires through Google Forms. So this is why we are using Google Forms. This is what what all I had from my side. If anybody any has any questions, please go ahead. Stop presenting. I've stopped presenting now. Yes, I've purposely kept 10 minutes so that questions can be asked, and I'm ready here to answer all your questions. And if there are any things which you want to suggest to me, you can.
Participants, if you want to ask any question, you can ask. Or you can send your question in the chat box also.
I've typed some links in the which are Google Sheets, where you can learn about advancing, because some functions are to be studied in detail. So you can just go, and these are free courses from Google. Just make use of it. If you want, there are n number of things. You just have to type it on Google, or just go. If you don't, if you're too busy, you think going through these is difficult. So just go and see the videos. They're already available. Each topic wise, each section wise, there are n number of resources available. Just make the best use of it. I'm telling you, this use of Google Apps is so good, so apt that it helps you to uninterrupted work, and just toggle between your workplace, your home, or any leisure time, and then use the best of it. Yeah. Thank you. Queries, please.
I think they don't have any queries, ma'am.
Oh, there can be two things: they have understood too much, or they have not understood at all. I went into a flow. Yes, Swati ma'am, do you want me to release the quiz, or do you want to release it? Should I put it
Ma'am,
in
we
chat
will
box?
release the quiz.
Okay,
Ma'am,
fine.
we will
There is
release
a
the
quiz
quiz.
already given to to you as participants. I just want to tell you that there will be a quiz. Whenever you want me to release the grades, just tell me. I'll just make sure that the grades are released. Okay?
Okay, ma'am. So now I invite Professor Tanu Gautam, ma'am, to propose a vote of thanks.
Oh, my pleasure.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, yes, you are audible. Perfect.
Yes.
Good afternoon, one and all. Today I feel honored and privileged to have been allowed to extend a vote of thanks for today's session. On behalf of GIT PhD Research Center, I would like to extend my warm regards and heartiest congratulations to our eminent speaker, Dr. Jyotsna Golhar ma'am, for giving his precious and valuable time to us. As ma'am has enlightened the topic on search engine, Google Apps, Google Slides, forms, and documents. I'm sure it would helpful to our participants to make a direction during their PhD journey. I want to extend my gratitude to convey Dr. Swati Rahate ma'am, Head Research Center, GIT, for her continuous support in organizing the program. I would like to thank all participants of pre-PhD coursework for being with us today. I feel proud and thank you for making today's session a successful one. Now I request to all participants to turn on your camera for common take. Kindly turn on your camera.
Oh, thank you. This was there. At least they have on switched on the cameras for that. I could see they were not the bots there.
Participants, kindly turn on your cameras for a photo.
Please remember that much more detail can be told, but I was told that this is a preliminary workshop. Therefore, I've not covered anything in much more in more detail form, because in each there are a number of other things which can be covered. Okay, so if you have any questions, you have my email ID. You can take from Swati ma'am. I'm just email me anytime with any of your queries. I will be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you for the photo, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.